What's going on, Poke People? Welcome to Cubone Radio, your one-stop shop for all things Pokemon. Whether it's video games, TCG, anime, or some kind of fluffy creation out there, you can find it here. To start the channel out, I decided to dip my Tootsies back into the world of Pokemon with Pokémon Fire Red. I found this for free online, so I figured it'd be a good way to start off cheap and easy. And we get to play something we played around 20 years ago. This is a nice remake of the original Pokémon Red that I did play the crap out of after my mom let me buy it at Walmart. So we're going to go through here and just do a full walkthrough, not quite a speed run, but going as fast as I can while building what I think is a nice balanced team and just, having a lot of fun in it. We are going to speed this up just a little bit so we're not sitting here for 8 years. But dipping into this game, you are going to have the chance to pick from one of the 3 starters. Obviously Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander. Those are going to be your basic ones. And usually I would have picked a Charmander because, come on. Charizard's awesome. But going through, watching some different kind of speed runs of what people thought about getting through this game quickly, I decided to go with the Squirtle. Just because water is going to allow you to go through the first 2 gym leaders pretty easy. Obviously, Brock is going to be very easy because Bubble and then Water Gun are going to just tear things up. And then against Misty, you obviously don't have a weakness against her, so your normal attack should do the trick. Starting off here, we get to go against Bulbasaur, and we are just going to rip him up. I did try out some of the tail whips and things, but it wasn't really needed. I just kind of tore through him pretty easily. So we get to go on our journey, and I am going to try to skip some trainers, but I do want to get to certain power levels before I get to different spots in the game. So I am going to fight some random Pokemon and most trainers, but I'm not going to actually try to catch everything because I'm not here to catch them all. I'm just here to win the game. So it's not quite lowest trainer kills, but we will be clearing quite a bit. In this first area, you are going to run into Rattatas and Pidgeys. Those can then evolve into Raticades, Pidgeots, and Pidgeotos. Those are not really the best Pokemon that you need. You can catch them because you could use Pidgey as a flying Pokemon for your HMs. And Raticade could use Dig, but that's not really necessary because Dig's a very powerful attack. You're probably going to want to teach one of your main Pokemon anyway. I'm going to stop in here at the Pokemon Center just to get my HP back up and then head into the mart to get my first quest to go back to where I started from. This game pretty much is very linear and doesn't make you go back and forth too much. I don't know why they made you do it here at the beginning. Maybe it's just to show you the mechanics of going down those little hills so you know that's something you can do later on in the game. And this is going to let us get our Pokedex that will keep track of all the Pokemon we catch. And if you're playing this as a completionist game, you will get as many Pokemon as you can, and there's lots of different kinds of fun equipment you can get at different levels of different amounts of Pokemon that you get. We only really need to get 10, I believe, because that's going to let you get the HM Flash. And that's something, if you are trying to do a speed run, you actually probably wouldn't go back and get that because all those people that do the speed runs will have this all mapped out and won't need to get through the cave that way. But I am simple and stupid and do not know how to get through the cave by myself. It has been far too long since I played this game before, and it's going to be very necessary to see where we're going. So I just don't stumble along and bounce into a wall for 5 hours and make this cast very, very boring. So as you can see, we're still beating the crap out of these random Pokemon, hitting level 8. That's actually probably high enough to get through Brock if we really need to. But I do want to get up to 11, 12 by the time we're getting up to the gym leader, because I believe you get Water Gun at 13, and Water Gun is just going to let us destroy Onix. We will probably still be outsped because for a rock Pokemon, he's pretty quick. Now, the most deadly part of this entire run probably is the bug forest, because it has the mechanic that I hate the most. Poison. It is super irritating. And I'll tell you, I get poisoned a lot. I did see this coming a little bit, so I bought some potions and I bought some antidotes. I do not know if I bought enough because I was poisoned on the first time they tried to poison me, which really, really sucks. Now, if I looked back and decided to do this again, I would definitely pick up a poison type Pokemon to get through all of these different poison things, because poison Pokemon cannot get poisoned. So that would have been a big boon. But me being stupid, I just decided, you know what? Squirtle could handle this. He's got it. No problem at all. But he almost did not have it. So there we go. Level 9, still attacking these bug trainers. The bugs aren't really very effective Pokemon. There's only really 2 attacks you have to worry about all of these Pokemon in here. You've got to worry about Poison Sting. That's going to be your main problem because it's going to poison you most of the time. And then there's Tackle, which is obviously just a basic attack that's not going to do a lot to our turtle because he's got pretty good defenses. But as you can see, these Weedles just love poisoning you. And then, of course, you're going to see the String Shot and the Hardens. Most of the Pokemon you're going to run into this area will be Weedle, which is the one you see on screen now. There's Caterpie, which is another version. That one just does Tackle, which is pretty nice. And then you're going to run into their next evolution, which is the ones I cannot remember their names at the moment. But they're just the Cocoon variant. All they're going to do is harden. You will not run into their evolutions, the Moth one and the Beedrill, because those are too high a level to be part of this part of the game so far. I actually don't know if you run into any of those in the game in general. And here I almost die, 2 HP. So I go ahead and I heal up and go ahead and I'll also get rid of my poison eventually once I get rid of this guy. Because one thing about poison is you will continue to take damage as you walk around, so your Pokemon can die even after the battle. Here's the first Cocoon that we see. This is Kakuna. This one will eventually evolve into a Beedrill. And Beedrill is actually a pretty nasty Pokemon, except I believe they have a fairly low defensive stat. Most bugs are kind of glass cannon-y, and they're even not that big of cannons. So if you're trying to build a successful team, I wouldn't say go for one of these bug type Pokemon because they're not going to really get you there. The only bug Pokemon in this game that's really going to be any kind of good is going to be your Scyther, and that one can only be gotten through the Pokemon lottery, whatever you call it, gambling system. So continuing on here, we're healed back up, and we're going to continue to get... Here's our first Caterpie, go into some random encounters, but we're just going to run away from those because we are running out of healing. We dodged one trainer there that you actually have to fight. Actually have to talk to fight. He won't actually look at you. But, we're going to continue to run away. Around here is where you could run into the last Pokemon in this area, and you can run into a Pikachu, which is a great pickup if you do not start with something that you could get through Misty with. So if you started with a Charmander, you probably want to try to grind out and get a Pikachu in this area because it's your first chance to get an electric Pokemon. I believe the only other electric Pokemon you can really get in this game, Zapdos, the bird, which is you're not going to get for a really long time, and then Voltorb and Magnemites, but all of those come later in the game, so this is really your only chance to get an electric type Pokemon. I decided not to look around for it because I felt Squirtle was going to do just fine against Misty on his own. So that's the last trainer right here, and we're going to be done with this area. I do decide to heal up and use my last antidote, one of my last antidotes, but my last potion, just so I don't die. We have to run away from one more Kakuna, and we are through the bug area. That was actually really scary. I thought it was going to go down a couple times, but we did make it through. That's the one bad thing about running a small team. I didn't catch any other Pokemon. If I would have gotten him killed, I would have had to start all over for my last Pokemon stop. But we did pretty good. Got all the way to the gym pretty easily, I thought, and pretty quick. This Geodude is not going to have any kind of chance against our bubble attack, and it's going to go down in one attack. The Sandshrew, on the other hand, is a little beefier and is not a rock type, so he doesn't have as much weakness against the water as would be really handy for us, because I believe he is just a ground type, and he's just gonna harden up a bunch, and it's not gonna be too much of a problem. But we come out of here pretty unscathed, because Squirtle's just tearing it up. Going against Brock here, again, we're a pretty high level, and water is just the way to go against Brock. It's just going to tear him up. Geodude is going to go down to bubble, and then that's going to level us up to 13, and that's going to give us Water Gun. Water Gun, we'll just get rid of Withdrawal because we're not going to use it. And Water Gun is also just going to destroy Onix. No problems here. He does get to outspeed us, but that's not a big deal because we're a pretty beefy Pokemon our own. And that's our first badge right there. And also the end of the first episode. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this, and we'll stay tuned for more of this walkthrough of Pokémon Fire Red. But until the next episode, I'm Rain Knight. This has been Cubone Radio, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya!